Hi, and good morning, everyone. My name is Albert, and this is Vlogs About Nothing. Thank you very much for taking the time out of your very busy morning to join me. I really do appreciate it. Forgive my hesitation this morning. Every time I speak, I do remind myself of the very early days of my life when I was around 12 years old, and every single time I'd open up my mouth, a different kind of voice would come out. So, lo and behold, my 37-year-old self, 25 years later. A couple of checks in there, right? One, I can do some basic math, and two, I think because I can do some basic math and have a little bit of common sense and, just quick sidebar, I'm anti-fascist. Just throwing that out there. We all need a cause, I guess. And if there were ever a cause to retaliate against, it would be the fascist cause, if the fascists could even call it such a thing. But regardless, today or this morning, I want to talk about inclusivity and give them many thanks. All right, so here's the thing. I've spent a good majority of my life saying thank you. I often hear that saying thank you or sorry or excuse me repeatedly is a sign of psychological weakness. And I can assure you that there's no pseudoscience here as it concerns the humility of the amicable mannerisms that we can have towards one another and just how far that can take us. Just with a little smile and a good attitude, I dare say it can take us extremely far. Probably farther or further than places we could possibly imagine. And it's for those very reasons, that inclusivity it's a good thing. Inclusivity is all about being humble. It's all about being amicable. It's all about being understanding, and coping with the idea that there are other ideas and that your idea is not fundamentally the 100% correct idea all the time. It's a give or take kind of situation. And if you spend your entire life arguing over stupid things, then you'll never get anywhere, my friend. And that's what I'm saying, is that inclusivity is a tough thing, because we are selfish people and we don't want to accept other people sometimes because of a fear of, this fear that we may or may not be doing something wrong, or it may be a symbol of other things, but at the end of the day, I'm pretty sure that you know what's right or wrong. And that's kind of the biggest thing, is that I treat human beings as not only I want them to treat me, but just as they should be treated, and adults should be governed and treated with a certain level of understanding, just so much as, a lack of understanding, right? All at the same time, in that, I don't need to understand why you hate this particular idea or person or ideology, and that's fine for you to do that. But when it comes time to work together so that we can be better people, it's important that we put our differences aside and that we work together so that we can accomplish things that are better for everyone instead of just a few people. I think that's kind of my sell to you, and it forever will be my sell to you, and I think it's a pretty good sell. Honestly, inclusivity is something that I am real keen on. Ever since I was a little kid, it kind of bothered me, honestly, when people get picked on for any reason, whether or not it's because you have a big nose, or because it's crooked, or, you talk funny, or your ears are lopsided, or whatever it might be, I'm just, quick sidebar, making fun of myself, right? I'm internalizing this very act of rhetoric that I'm trying to, really get across to everyone. And that's, if there's one thing you can take away from me, love me or hate me, like me or dislike me, it's you should be more inclusive, and you should allow other people and other ideas to, seek into your mind and actually think about them, actually try and understand what it's like to be another person. Because again, just by nature, we're all pretty selfish, and we all kind of just understand our own experiences, and I can't blame people for that, right? Because again, we all experience that. I watched an interesting video the other day, and it talked about how we are many different people in fact, to everyone. We are, in fact, a different person to every single person that we meet, you know, and that's interesting, right? Because, like, okay, so where do you draw the line? How do you find yourself? Where do you draw the line and not, like, get compromised? You feel me? I mean, you could do things like me and have little to no ambition, set the bar real low and not care about money, you know, but that's just a real difficult thing to do, and it's a real lonely thing to do as well. So, you know, I want to spend the last few minutes of this video, and I'm going to jump out of character here, to thank my new friends, right? In particular, a new friend who's invited me to attend a church service this morning. So that's where I will be. I will be at church this morning, and, you know, I got to tell you guys, if you didn't already know, right, I identify as a Catholic. Not important. In fact, it's so unimportant that I wouldn't be telling you if it weren't relevant to what I had just said. In that, again, I just want to thank my new friend for allowing me an opportunity to be a part of his congregation and to be there and, you know, experience the kind of service that particular church is going to be providing today, you know. And again, I'm an inclusive guy, okay? I don't hate other people for any other reason. And I mean, you know, violent people, obviously, sure, a big part of me hates them, right? But a small part of me also believes that violent people are not all violent people on their own choosing, and that society makes them this way, and that since we're a part of a society, we should probably focus on trying to mitigate those risks, right? So that we can all enjoy the kind of good quality of life that many of us are used to here in the United States, and dare I say, not a lot of people are used to around the world. There are many, many people suffering right now throughout parts of South America, all of South America, essentially, the entire continent of Africa, as if anything's changed in the past 500 years. Shout out to poor Africa, who will be, by the way, the largest economy in the world at the end of this century. So again, I mean, if business were to ever speak volumes about how this world needs to properly govern itself before a time comes of which things will change, then, you know, now would be the time, okay? I can assure you guys, I'm pleading with everyone to take, you know, some of the things that I say as they are at face value. I would not lie. Not about these kinds of things, right? I mean, hey, at the bar, you know, I might be a jet pilot on a Friday night to pick up some honeys, but I don't go to bars. I've never been to one on a Friday night, and no, I've never pretended to be a jet pilot. I'm 5'4". Are you kidding me? I can barely get on the ride at my local amusement park to ride the roller coaster. So this is all that I'm saying, all right, is that inclusivity is important, and that, you know, saying thanks is also important. All right, and don't let anyone ever tell you that having manners somehow makes you more of a weak person or a weaker person or whatever. You know, you got some class. Rock it, okay? Seriously, there's nothing wrong with saying thank you. There's nothing wrong with being inclusive, okay? And for those of you out there that think there are problems with being inclusive, or, you know, that think that, like, there are other problems with saying thanks, you know, I feel bad for you. You know, you gotta be one grumpy son of a gun. And that's not any way to live life, right? I mean, again, and the irony in all of what I'm saying is that I might be hating sometimes on a certain part of a group or a certain population or whatever, but at the end of the day, as a socialist, I'm still very interested in pleasing as many people as possible, right? At the end of the day, we can't make everyone happy, and I can assure you that I will do my best to make sure that the most amount of people are happy, sans the fascists, you know, who needs them anyway? I mean, seriously. Again, I just, common sense thinking, you know, here, 2025, United States of America. My name is Albert. I'm your boy. I host a show. This is called Vlogs About Nothing. I told you I broke character a couple of minutes ago. Sometimes I sneak back into it or whatever. I just want to thank you, the viewer, you at home, for watching my channel, for watching my videos. I encourage you guys to check out, you know, the catalog of videos that I will continue to republish. just as soon as I can get around to doing that. I just republished like 30 shorts or something. So why don't you go on down and check out some of those shorts that I put a lot of work into and then had to unpublish them for a certain amount of time for a certain reason. And now here I'm back again, better than ever, not going anywhere again. Sometimes I'm tardy. I didn't want to make videos the last couple of days. I've been kind of busy, but it doesn't really matter because this is my life. And I look forward to doing what I can to help you out in yours. That's all that I can say. So my name is Albert. This is Vlogs About Nothing. I hope that you guys have a wonderful day. Thanks again to my new friend. I'm not going to say his name. Hadn't got permission. I'm not that guy. But again, thank you, my guy. I really appreciate it. Let's rock out at church or something. I mean, what am I supposed to say, But I look forward to hanging out with you guys, and I look forward to seeing you, dude. So I hope that you guys have a wonderful afternoon, and I will definitely report back to everyone, and I'm sure that it'll be positive and it'll be good, and we'll talk about something else, maybe something not so sad. It always sounds like we're talking about something really sad, and by sad, I mean, even when we talk about good things like inclusivity and saying thank you, I'm sure there's going to be a handful of people, a plethora of people who are just like anti-thank you and just anti-inclusivity and just want to continue to perpetuate hate and like not going anywhere and staying stationary and stagnant, things that I'm not interested in. So I hope that you guys have a wonderful day. Thank you so much again, and we'll see everyone later. All right, bye.